The more I see of Washington, the more unhappy I am of how things are dysfunctional and don't work. I'm a huge proponent of term limits. I would throw everybody out, myself included. I'm serious.
I would throw everybody out, myself. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky hates being a senator, and he wants to throw himself out of that job, which is a strange way to campaign to hold on to that job.
You know what you have now? You have a minuscule, a tiny, tiny, impotent, and inconsequential Congress. And I'm embarrassed that I'm even part of it. We exert nothing. We do nothing.
So send me back. Rand Paul is simultaneously running for president and running for re-election to the Senate. Part of the pressure on him from Republicans to drop the presidential bid and focus on the Senate is because he's been campaigning for president in part by talking about how much he hates his Senate job. And that's an awkward way to try to keep that job. Senator Paul, to be fair, also just has really, really bad polling numbers in the presidential race, which basically make that race look like kind of a waste of time and money and effort. He gets 3% nationwide in the latest Fox poll. He's at 1% in Connecticut and 1% in Pennsylvania. In polls that just came out in those two states, he's at 2% in Nevada. He's at 4% in South Carolina, which counts as a boom for him. 4% is above his average these days. So those bad numbers are part of the reason that some Republicans are pushing him to give up on the presidential bid, focus on the Senate re-election effort instead. He is still in both races, though. And yesterday, as the criminal trial started in Iowa over the bribery scandal in his dad's last presidential campaign, this is the case where the head of one of Rand Paul's super PACs had to resign from the super PAC in order to face these federal charges. Yesterday, Rand Paul decided to maybe distract from all that a little bit by mounting a Rand Paul presidential campaign stunt in which he live streamed a day on the presidential campaign trail with Rand Paul. And it turns out that is kind of a small, sad place to be.
At Joe Banana tweets, at Rand Paul, talk about hairstyle. That looks like a bucket of French grease on his head. Now that is mean, and I want to see your hair, Joe, if you've got any. At the Madison Show tweets, at Rand Paul's hair looks like ramen noodles. I guess that's an insult, and I'll just accept it. Oh gosh, Donald Trump, who put Donald Trump in this thing? At Real Donald Trump tweets, watching Rand Paul for the entire day, I would say that'd be one of the lowest ranked shows in history. Well, we'll just see, won't we, Donald?
Senator Rand Paul reading mean tweets during the miserable live stream of his presidential campaign day yesterday. And partly it was miserable because he seems miserable. Partly it was miserable because, as his day was streamed on a website called Ustream, it emerged that after a full day of that behind-the-scenes access to Senator Paul on Ustream, he still has only 148 total followers on Ustream. But mostly it was miserable because this kind of just is what misery looks like, I'm guessing, from a candidate. And fair warning, there is a little swear here.
They also tell me, because I'm just doing what I'm told, riding around Iowa, looking at cornfields and answering silly questions, that I'm now supposed to answer the top Googled questions about me. The first question is, how tall is Rand Paul? And it's 5'8", but I do look a lot taller on TV. The next question is, how old is Rand Paul? The answer is, or the real answer, I guess, is 52, but I sometimes feel about 10 to 20 to maybe 30 to 40 to 50 years older after a day of this. The third question, most popular question from Google is Rand Paul still running for president? And I don't know, wouldn't be doing this dumbass live streaming if I weren't. So yes, I am running for president. Get over it. Where is Rand Paul in the polls? This is not live. We can't edit this, right? All right.
No, this is live. We all heard you just say you feel like you're 102 when you're doing this with your life these days. This is your life, Senator. We can all see you. Honestly, though, we're starting to feel bad about it at a human level. That does it for us.